Okay, Master Sri, how you doing, my friend?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Roger, for having me on your show.
God bless you. I appreciate your time. I know your time is precious, and you do lots of great things, traveling around the world, saving lives. It's amazing. It's amazing. I was reading about your story on your website. Um, that you go by the name Master Sri. Not too sure how to pronounce the last bit.
Akarshana.
Akasha. Say that again.
Akarshana.
Akarshana.
Mm,
And your birth name is Eric Ho,
mm.
and you became a disciple of a spiritual grand master, Aksha, is that
That's
the
right.
name?
That's
And
right.
you
Yes.
you earned the title master from him. Is that correct?
That's right. I received that blessing in 2019.
Okay. So, what is a master exactly, and how do you earn it? How do you earn that title, first of all?
There are many masters in the world. You even have chess grandmasters. I think um, every every master will be a master in different fields. So I don't think there's one specific generic thing that everybody is once they become a spiritual master. Um, my spiritual master has seen certain uh, characteristics or traits or strengths that I had, and wanted me to go through a deeper training to explore that. And so that was my journey personally. And so I cannot speak for other people who have received any blessings like that. But for me, I know that my spiritual master had seen that I was equipped in this human material world, at the same time in touch and connected with my spiritual or metaphysical self, the higher self, or the universe, or God, um, and being able to be that bridge for the people as well, to be able to spread that message to people. So that is the mastery journey that I went through. And it was just to become stronger in that area, to deepen the connection further, and to have that, build that vessel and build that container so that I have the capacity to spread this message with the world. So that is,
Mm.
yeah.
How long did that journey take for you?
In this physical reality, it would be classed as 30 days only on that specific pilgrimage and initiation in 2019, where I was up in the Himalayan mountains. But most of the training was done in outer dimensions. So it was the equivalent of 2 to 3 years, about 2.5 years.
How would you explain the outer dimensions exactly for those who have no idea?
So we are multidimensional beings. And I think the easiest way for people to understand is when we sleep, our consciousness is not here. Our consciousness being our majority of our energy, our focused energy. And if it is not here, then it must be somewhere else. Humans will name it dream and just wave it off as it's just a dream. But dream is not just a dream. That's why there is dream reading. There is truth to dream. It's an alternate dimension that you reside in when you are not in this physical dimension. And so that is only one parallel that we speak about that is more relatable for the average human.
Mm.
But there are many, many dimensions that we are existing in at the same time. And that's why we get all these phenomenals as, dreams coming true, or deja vu, or intuition, or, these moments of, fascination for the normal human being. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Intuition itself, how does a person tap into their intuition when the vast majority of times our mind is just chattering all the time. We hear lots of things, talk, 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 and then somehow we're supposed to decipher the intuition, which is telling us something. How can a person know when it's intuition and not just self-dialogue?
The word intuition is thrown around a lot these days, and everybody has it. Everybody receives these messages and receives these signals. But as you just said, many people cannot be 100% sure whether that is intuition, a download, the universe or God speaking to them, or it's just them making it up. Intuition is an energy, is natural, is a download, is a flow, is energy in motion that we portray in this human form as emotion. And so for all those times, we can say to ourselves, I really want to do something, but I don't know why. So we need to first understand what that sentence means. I really feel like doing it, but I don't know why. Or sometimes we have moments where we say, I really want to do it, and I know it makes no sense, and I know I shouldn't, but I really want to. We need to understand what these sentences mean. What we are doing is we are unconsciously having a dialogue between our infinite self and our limited physical self. Because we are saying, I want to do it. That I is referring to the infinite I, the universe, God, channeling that message through you. I want to do it. But at the same time, I know it makes no sense. That second I is my limited mind, trying to understand how does this even make sense? But you will never be able to make sense of it. We cannot make sense of God with our limited mind because God is infinite. We could never make sense of that. And so how do we differentiate what is intuition and what is our mind making it up? Is when our mind is not involved in it. When our mind is involved, our mind is making it up. When we think about it, our mind is making it up. When it's a feeling without mind, then that is something beyond us.
Feeling beyond mind, without mind. That's really
It's not a
interesting.
mind-stimulated feeling. And thank you. It's not a mind-stimulated feeling. Sometimes we get mind-stimulated feeling, you know? It's like I can meet somebody today and I can feel, when we all have this, we meet somebody for the first time and we feel, don't know what it is. The energy seems a little bit off. Can't really put my finger on it, but it just feels off. And I'm sure many people have had it before where then they find out something bad about this person. They're like, you see, I knew it. In my gut, in my intuition, I felt it before. But at the same time, we've also probably had the same moment where we've met somebody before, we felt they were off, we got to know them better, and they're the nicest people we've ever met. So sometimes we're like, huh? We didn't think that at first. We felt it was off. And what was that then? So that already determines that, hey, majority of people, their intuition is 50% right and 50% wrong. So how can we depend our life on it? Well, it's hard. But it's because the first one was pure energy in motion. It was an emotional, it was nothing to do with the mind. The second one, the fake intuition, was mind stimulated. And sometimes we don't know how it's mind stimulated, but it could be something so simple as you were once dating someone who betrayed you, who cheated on you. The person you meet tomorrow walks or talks like that person or dresses like that person. Therefore, when you meet them unconsciously, you just have a bad feeling about them. But because that is a thought-stimulated emotion, it's a memory-stimulated emotion, and that's why you feel off. So it's got nothing to do with God or divine energy or channeling. It's a mind, it's a memory.
So whenever we have certain feelings, we need to question whether it is something in the memory bank and somehow been stimulated, or whether it is somehow
We
from,
could yes, we could look at it that way, but that would also be very tiring trying to figure out whether it is or not. And the more we think, the more we end up thinking. So actually, the solution to it is more to do with non-thinking. Through breath work practices, through grounding practices, through meditation practices, we can get into that state where there is no thought. When there is no thought, we finally become the witnesser, we become the observer, and we are just observing what is coming through us. And that is when our intuition or our supernatural powers heightens.
yeah. You know, there's neuroscientists that say we have about 70,000 thoughts a day. If if that is taking place for most people, how do you get in a state where you can stop that? Constantly thinking, and to tell yourself, okay, I'm going to stop thinking. The brain is like, what are you talking about? So how does a person move from 70,000 thoughts to zero?
If we look at the mind like a light bulb, so the light is on, there's a lot of electric currents moving through that. Take it as the 70,000 wattage that is there, that is going through. By trying to deal with the electric, by trying to deal with the wattage, by trying to deal with the thoughts, we will not be able to manage the thoughts. In fact, the more we try to deal with it, by putting our fingers inside the light bulb, touching the electricity is not going to stop it. So it actually just will make it worse. So we don't work on the light bulb, we don't work on the mind to be able to silence the mind. We need to work on the dimmer switches. So what is simple dimmer switches? Right now, everybody who's hearing this podcast or watching this show right now, there will be many thoughts that is crossing their mind because they're listening to the dialogue and they're evaluating everything we're saying now. And also, some will still be evaluating everything we said just 3 minutes ago, still trying to figure that out. So there's many thoughts going on at the same time. How do we get rid of those thoughts? We cannot just go into the light bulb and try to stop it by saying, stop thinking about it, stop thinking about deja vu, stop thinking about dreams, stop thinking about what they said before. The more they say stop thinking about it, the more they're thinking about it, because what we focus on expands. But instead of doing that, if we work on a dimmer switches, the first dimmer switch being breath. If anybody could breathe properly, meaning deep, slow abdominal breathing, if we all just took that breath in, just one breath, and notice how silent it becomes. That's a dimmer switch, and that's taking one breath. If anybody took that breath with us just now, they will feel that there's less thoughts in their mind. You didn't need to think about not thinking. You didn't need to think about your thoughts. All you did was focus on breath. If you did 5 minutes of that, in comparison to the 20 seconds we just did, you can already imagine how much it starts silencing the mind. So work on dimmer switches, not the mind.
Right. It's really interesting, really. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can't try to focus on stopping the amount of thoughts that goes through your head. That's wild. That's wild. Sometimes I wake up and I'm just thinking about things that I was like thinking to myself, like, why am I thinking about this? This isn't even important. And then I do some breathing practices myself. Definitely need to do more. Um, but just throughout the day, sometimes I'm just I'm just gobsmacked with the amount that I'm thinking. I'm like, wow, I just got things racing through my head, like this and that, just jumping from topic to topic. Would you suggest breathing practices throughout the day as well, or just in the morning, or as often as you can, as a good dimmer switch to your very active mind?
Breathing can help silence the mind. And if we stay focused with breath at all times, it can keep our mind calm and it can keep that presence of mind in the moment. But we also need to pay close attention to our surroundings, our environment. So I can be breathing all of the time, but if I'm breathing all of the time while swiping Instagram nonstop, which is what people do, YouTube videos, Facebook, everything, and if I'm in busy environments and my environment is not managed well to protect my energies, then my mind will still be filled with clutter. So if we can put certain protection in place or protocols in place, like, I'm not saying that everybody needs to, move to the mountains and not touch technology at all, which is not practical in today's world, especially when we need to get work done. But there are ways around things. Like, today, we live in a world where everything is information, and it's too much information. In fact, we can say that most of the information is nonsense. And it's because people probably have not the intelligence right now to increase their intelligence to how to prevent themselves from consuming too much nonsense. I mean, something so simple as if somebody was to want to achieve a goal, they would probably just search on YouTube. Let's say, I get this all the time, everybody wants to learn how to manifest winning the lottery using law of attraction. And so it's one of the biggest searches on manifestation on YouTube. And a lot of people always ask, Master, how come you create so many videos on manifestation, but you never create that video? And I said, well, quite frankly, I don't manifest winning the lottery that often, and I don't find it that easy, and so I will not teach something that I am not, proving and doing so well at. But there are many, many, many influencers who have created many videos, because obviously it's viral content and it does very well, on how to win the lottery using, law of attraction. And many people will consume that information, but where is your intelligence? Does this person who's teaching you know how to manifest winning the lottery using the law of attraction? And if they did, they would probably just do it twice, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, no? And we are too much just spending time with a lot of nonsense instead of just finding results proven information and just using that and implementing it straight away rather than doing all our research. I mean, today, think about it. If you want a fit body, you want some health, nutrition guide, you will, if the more you dig into the information world in Google, on YouTube, the more you'll find that one website will tell you to eat more avocado, it's good fats, and the other one will say too much avocado will kill you. And then you get very confused. So now it's just all clutter. Aside from that as well, our environment of noise, everybody listening to just usual pop music, unconsciously singing heartbreak songs, being their daily mantra every single day, and then their daily mantra manifesting into their physical reality, and unknowingly, why is it this happening to me? Why am I keep manifesting the wrong people? Why they keep leaving me? Well, probably because you're singing Adele's songs every single day and listening to it in the shower and everything, That becomes our affirmation. So that is also clutter. What is another clutter? Just daily conversations with people. I mean, think about it. We meet up with somebody, or we bump into somebody in the mall. Hey, what you doing? Shopping? Sometimes just like, no shit, Sherlock, you know, we're all in
Yeah,
the mall. Why you ask that question? And a lot of this dialogue is nonsense. Like, you wake up in the morning, you've got some friends over at your place. You wake up in the morning, what's the first thing they say? Did you sleep well last night? It's like, do you really want to know? Or are you just trying to say something because you are afraid of silence? Most people are afraid of silence. Go to dinner with anybody. How's the food? If I say good, what do you get out of it? If I say not good, what would you do? You know, a lot of the dialogue is not required actually, but we do it because we fear silence. And that's why we always call it that awkward moment when nobody's talking. But if you look at how my environment is set up and how our team members or our students or disciples, we can work very well with silence because silence is powerful.
yeah,
When the mind is silent, your third eye gates also open, your intuition, your sensories heighten, your supernatural powers amplify. That is all through silence, because when the mind calms, these gates and your energetic body also grows, it amplifies, it expands. And so but we cannot do that if we're not in silence, because we're too busy using our energies thinking.
yeah. Creating the environment, as you say, is very important. But there is a lot of noise around, isn't there? Like you was talking about, different types of information which is provided out there. One place saying avocado's good, another one saying it's too much to kill you, and it's uh, it's tough when you're trying to just find the right information, because someone can do a YouTube search and find your channel and find it quite interesting, but then maybe they find someone else who might even conflict what you say and say, do you know what? I've checked out Master Shree's stuff. It's garbage. This is the way to do it. You got a lot of social media wars and stuff going on as well, and it's yeah, it isn't easy. It isn't easy.
But a conscious soul will not get involved in those battles, because there is no battle if you understand yourself well. I mean, it all starts from knowing yourself. Like,
Mm,
if you know yourself well, you know what is right for you. In the same way, if we know ourselves well, we can listen to our body and we know what we are supposed to eat or what we are not supposed to eat, because when we are not accumulating too much information from outside, but actually listening to our body and observing how it's reacting or responding to what we are putting into it or giving it, all the answers are actually there. And the answers are way better than any answers you can get from any YouTube channel or any Google search. But most people don't know how to dial into that, to listen to their body. So much so that you can ask somebody today, if you decide that it's lunchtime and you say, hey, shall we go and eat? Are you hungry? These days, what do people need to do? Am I hungry? And then they check their watch. Well, it's, and all this thinking is, well, it's 1 p.m. I haven't eaten lunch yet. Maybe, yeah, I think so. I think maybe. It's like, dude, you don't know if you're hungry or not.
ah,
Like, this is how people are these days. And it's because we are just too much troubled minds, And so we can't even understand whether my tummy is saying I'm hungry or not. And
mm,
then that's why people also suffer from so much obesity and all these health problems and everything. And it's because people are not listening to their body. They're just confused because they're stuck in all the confusion.
yeah. Um, with the whole manifesting thing, I know you mentioned a moment ago, people wanted to try and manifest the lottery. People talk about manifesting their dreams. relationships or life of abundance. How would you describe manifesting, and why do most people fail to manifest what they want?
Manifesting anything is just about getting what you want. That's all it is. So let's put law of attraction aside first. Just manifestation is, if you manifest something in your life, it means you achieved something in your life. That's simple. Before we start going all woo-woo and what's happening, nice and simple. Why do people fail? Well, we only need to look at three things: thoughts, feelings, actions. If our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions are aligned, we will achieve what we want. It's down to two things: alignment and intensity of thoughts, feelings, and actions. Now, when we go deeper into that, when we say, oh, well, that's easy. So you're saying that if I think about winning the lottery, and then I feel that I'm going to win the lottery, and then I go to buy a lottery ticket, then it means I'm guaranteed to win the lottery. Is that what you're saying? Well, kind of, yes. But the problem with that is not to do with our conscious thoughts, feelings, and actions, but the biggest problem is our unconscious thoughts, feelings, and actions. So it's fair enough, you wake up in the morning, you watch a YouTube video or do an affirmation, I am rich, I am wealthy, money always flows my way. And then you go into the supermarket the next moment and you say, which one's the cheaper one? So, this is unconscious. We do our law of attraction practices. We say we're rich, but we act differently. And so it's to do with the alignment and intensity of those three things.
Well, what if a person is, you got people who, for instance, have been in troubled relationships and they want to find someone new, but like they've been in extreme heartbreak and it was painful. I guess it's a memory they're stuck into, but they want to manifest a happy relationship, but the torment of the previous one is still there. How does a person move out of that that frame of mind and that feeling in order to manifest something better?
Breath work.
Breath work, right?
You see, that pain or that torment or whatever it is the past. If we learn to use breath work in every moment, it will bring our consciousness living in the now in every moment. Now in this moment, there are no problems. There are never problems now. Like, we're alive, it's beautiful. The problem is that there was an argument before. The problem is that there was a breakup a year ago, half a year ago, a month ago. So how do we get ourselves in the moment? That's the question. By just using breath work. We don't need to go all fancy with all the different yogic practices with this. All we need is slow, deep abdominal breathing. Inhale, exhale. 5-10 minutes, you're back here again, fully here, present in the moment. And then you're not carrying the troubles here. If you carry the troubles of your past and you're wanting to manifest the beautiful new, it will never happen, because you only manifest the vibrational frequency that you are. And if you are carrying the negative vibrational frequency and pain from the past into the now, you will manifest from now into the future the same problems. And that's why many people, they end up manifesting the same type of wrong people in their life over and over again.
Mm, mm. So you mentioned breath work in sort of what do you call it? Like a dimmer switch or something? What's the term you used?
Yes, like a dimmer switch, yes.
Yeah. Are there any other types of dimmer switches other than breath work, or that's like the key focus?
There is many. Breath work is something that I'm speaking more on this foundation level for everyone, because it's easily accessible, and anyone can slow down their breathing and deep breathe slowly. And the only one can do that, close their eyes, right? Closing your eyes is a dimmer switch. Why? Because that's why when we meditate, we close our eyes. Because when we close our eyes, we are receiving less information. Imagine you are trying to dim and calm the mind while your eyes are open. So things are happening around you and you're getting different ideas because of what you see. So as long as more of our sensories are open, right? If we are hearing things, if we're in a noisy environment trying to calm our mind, it's going to be harder. If we are in a busy, let's say, take clutter in a home. If your house is a mess and your eyes are open, you will have more clutter in the brain. Your cluttered environment will transfer through eyes into your mind because you've got more to look at. If you go for simplistic design, everything is basic and plain, then your mind is easier to stay calm. That's why you go to a lot of Zen yoga studios. It's just empty. There's nothing there. Simplistic. So these are dimmer switches also. If we go deeper into dimmer switches, from breath to eyes, then we are talking about your energy body. By knowing where our energy is our ultimate dimmer switch. But this takes a lot more practice, a lot more knowledge, learning. This, in yogic practices, they can refer to the 7 chakras, but actually beyond the 7 chakras. We have many, many minor chakras that run throughout the body, throughout the legs, throughout the arms, that are equally as important. And so, where we need to understand is, where is most of our energy consumed in this physical, or the energy body that is in this physical? Number 1 consumption is in our energy center, our lower 3 chakras. The second consumption is towards our third eye, our mind, our head. These are the top 2 chakras. So there's more of the major chakras here, and in second, more of the chakras are here. Most of our energies are used up and consumed here through 2 main activities, actually: digesting food and sexual activities. That's why we call it this manifestation center, our energy center. So when we learn how to not exert that energy outwards, or consume too much food, which just makes us sleep because it uses so much of our energy, we can transfer that energy towards actually what we want to focus on. Same thing through sexual activities. When the energy is moved out, we also get tired. But we need to understand the power of sexual energies, because sexual energies moving out creates and manifests human beings, which is probably the most miracle manifestation that one human will ever manifest, you know? A baby can come from that. But if it's not used that way and it's transmuted, then it becomes very powerful manifestation fuel. The second biggest consumption is our mind. That's why sometimes we can say, I've been thinking so much, I'm so tired of thinking. Again, another thing that makes us fall asleep from thinking too much or eating too much. These 2 consumptions is happening here. So what's that dimmer switch? The dimmer switch is knowing how to calm. So we need to activate our energies in these 2 areas. And how do we usually do it? We usually do it through yoga practice, physical yoga practice. So we are able to activate the energies, activate, release, transfer. So we first activate the energies when it's vibrant. Now there's no stuck energies, or some people refer to as blocked chakras. Once we do that, we are able to release any unwanted energies, clutter, too much in the mind, we release once it's activated. After releasing, now the soul, our energy body, is clean, it's clear. So it goes on to the final part, is transfer. By using certain Kundalini practices and breath work and visualization and meditations, we can transfer that energy towards third eye, which is the most powerful way to go and visualize and manifest in alternate dimensions.
This sounds really, really fascinating. Is there any books you'd recommend for learning a bit more about chakras and the movement of it and how each one is, what purpose each chakra serves? Not just the main ones, but the many ones you mentioned of around the body.
Yeah, I actually do not read books, and I have not read any books, so I cannot refer books. I
Okay,
trained everything I learned up in the Himalayas. I learned from my spiritual master up in the Himalayas.
fascinating.
It's not that I don't want to read books. I think reading books is wonderful. From a young age, I was never into books. I was also labeled with dyslexia. So I read one, two sentences, and I get to the third sentences, and I forget who John was on the first sentence. So it takes me forever to try and read a book. And yeah, but I learn better through activities. Yeah.
Right, right, right. Yeah, actual physical activities and getting involved. I find myself having issues reading books at times. I'm more of an audio person, to be honest. I do like audio books. I find that I digest it a bit more. Um, but that's really fascinating though. Really fascinating. What's your thoughts on I know you'd mentioned in a video of yours about planetary alignments affecting manifestation, something along those lines. Um, how can a person learn about that? You know, if they're doing practices and they want to get the best outcome, um, how would they know about the planetary alignment?
I mean, it's a journey. It's will take some time to familiarize yourself with what is affecting what, how all the energies. Because there's, I mean, it's infinite planets, it's infinite stars, galaxies, universe. So I think everybody should start with first understanding their energies and their cycles, witnessing that, being the observer. Second, then you can start moving on to understanding how moon and sun affects our energies and our moon and sun channel within our energy body. I think that's more basic and easier for people to start with and start getting the hang of it and understanding how it's affecting us. Just very simple, like full moon happens once a month. Happens once a month. Our emotions shift. The moon, we all know, affects tidal waves. If there was no moon, there are no waves. So when we know that it can move water that way, we being majority percentage of water, we need to start questioning how can the moon, or does the moon move us a particular way when the moon is bright, when it's vibrant, when it's full, when it's half, when it's small, when it's new moon. So when we start asking those questions and we start figuring out, wait there a second, but we all are very aware of this female species. Once a month, we say, once a month, we have interesting times, a bit more emotional maybe than usual. Why does that happen? But it's not just females, because actually it affects, these cycles affect males as well. It affects everything. And so when we understand, hey, something so simple as moon affects that, then we need to ask the question, how does sun affect us? Sun is active energies. Where that's the fire in our belly, our solar plexus is the sun chakra. So how does that affect our motivation, our desire? But it needs to be used well. You cannot get too much sun. Too much sun will also make some people feel sleepy because it's overpowering your capacity. Your container is not ready for that much energy, then it's draining. So we need to learn, okay, what is optimizing by having how much sunlight? How does it make me feel? If I was in a dark room, how does it make me feel? Oh, wait there a second. So moon and sun both affect my emotions, affect my motivation, my drive, affect my laziness, my procrastination? Well, if it affects all of the things that I just said, then wait there a second. Even just the sun and the moon, depending on their phases and what time it is, what date it is, meaning they affect my manifestations in every moment. So when we start understanding that from sun and moon, then we can start saying, okay, so let me start identifying when is optimal for me to manifest a specific type of thing. And then we start seeing these patterns. Then you can slowly start going into, okay, now what does Mars do? And then it'll be forever because you've got every single planet which holds a different characteristic. So, but I think that is a good way to start, becoming aware of it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Um, that is fascinating. And I know you can have, yeah, definitely too much sun for sure. Um, I've never heard of too much moon though. Is there such a thing?
It happens because it's every full moon is a very emotional time. So actually, every time full moon happens, a lot of things manifest. What does that mean? It's good, it's bad, it's neutral. If you
Mm,
have negativity or problems happening in your life during full moon, most likely those emotions and triggers will happen even more. So that is classed as too much moon, and that's why a lot of the time we say during full moon, actually it's better to stay indoors rather than be in very busy environments, because too many people are being affected at the same time. Then you are prone to being in the middle of problems or conflicts.
got you, got you. It's also said that uh, it, those who use crystals, it's a good time to charge crystals. I don't know if what's your thoughts on crystals anyway? Do you believe that they hold a certain energy? Do you use it yourself?
Everything holds energy. So
Right.
if there's a nice crystal, we can place it there. Makes you happy looking at it. It's nice. Uh, Crystals hold energy for sure. Having the right crystals, stones, rocks around you is always good. Um, but I think sometimes some people may become dependent on it. So I never encourage this. That's why you will never see me doing too much work with crystals or talking about it too much, because today a lot of things people are just becoming dependent on finding their energy outside. Most of my teachings is teaching people how to find your energy inside and use this energy better, because this is where your power is, not in the crystal and everything. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying it holds no power. Everything holds energy. But primarily this and this needs to be worked on.
Mm, yeah. And I guess it would have, understanding yourself would have a strong influence on your own vibration. I wanted to ask, what is the difference between vibration and frequency? Like, how does it work?
Mm, I think this is words. So
Right,
depends on
right.
everyone's interpretation, I think. A vibration is at whatever frequency. Every vibration is at different frequencies. So when frequencies match, they come together. Like they say, birds of a feather flock together. So yeah.
Right, right. So when your vibration is high, then normally the things that you want to manifest, they kind of meet at some point and then takes place. Is
Yeah,
that the way it
again,
works?
vibration being high is an interesting sentence as well, and it can be interpreted in many ways. And I think some people interpret it in the wrong way too, because it depends if we're talking about the vibrational frequency chart that a lot of people refer to. If when they talk about it, they say fear and doubts and anger and frustration and all of this is at the lower vibrational frequency, and your higher vibrational frequencies is love, joy, and peace. So if we are talking in terms of that particular vibrational frequency chart, then it is not true that you manifest better in high frequency. And I think that people will question, what does that mean? You're saying you manifest well in hate and anger. Yes, you manifest extremely well. Because if you have a lot of hate and if you have a lot of anger, you will manifest a lot of anger and a lot of hate very, very quickly. And so if we talk about the power or the intensity of a vibration, that is a different way of looking at vibrational frequency being high. The vibrational frequency being high, meaning anger being that high, meaning love being that high, meaning the opposites also being that high. That is where, when vibrations are high, we manifest extremely fast, because it's high, it's big. When vibrations are bigger, our attraction is faster, because that's the power of that frequency at the time. So yeah, but then we need to be very aware of balance, because then we bridge onto a different topic. When vibrations are high, emotions are high. But when emotions are high, intelligence is low. That's why a lot of the time when we get emotional, we end up saying a lot of things that we come to regret afterwards, or do a lot of things that we end up thinking, why on earth did I ever do that? So if vibrations are high and your intelligence is low, now we need to understand where your intelligence is at. Because if you are not knowing, example, how to invest money, let's say, and your vibrations are high, your intelligence lowers, so it means you will take a lot of action very quickly. But you take a lot of action unprepared with the wrong information, and then that doesn't get you the outcome that you want. But if you are equipped with the right information and your emotions is high, it means your action increases. But because you're loaded with the right information, that helps you to get the right manifestation. So when vibrations are high, we end up touching on a different topic of intelligence and knowledge. And that needs to be in perfect balance too, for anything that you want to manifest actually happens,
Wow. That's also very interesting. It's tough to get that balance. A balance of high intelligence, high vibration. But yeah, you can have high vibration in something negative and high vibration in something positive. Is that what you're saying?
You can have an amplified, let's not use the word high, but you can have
Okay.
an amplified vibration when you're negative, or when an amplified vibration when you're positive, yes.
Right, right. So as long as it's an amplified emotion, you're going to manifest anyway. Is that
Yes, you want
correct?
to speed up the manifestation, yes.
Right. So it's so easy to be angry, upset, and sad. But I guess it's something to do with your environment as well, how you place your environment and putting on the dimmer switch at the right times. um, how do you do it in a world which is so chaotic? Um, lots of negative things happening around you. Um, keeping yourself at peace. Um, do you have moments where you're feeling overly stressed? Yeah. Do you have like regular stuff that people go through?
What is the journey? As a human being, our human mind reacts to negativity. As a human being, we are all dealt the cards in this lifetime, this physical human lifetime, that we must deal with ego, and we must deal with doubt and fear, because that is how our human mind is programmed. It's programmed not to make us extremely successful or rich or wealthy. It's programmed to defend us or protect us. So we will always be skeptical. And as long as your human mind is always skeptical, there is no master or no level you will get to where you don't see it. It doesn't come up. But the difference and what is that journey to mastery is how we shorten that time from the very, very normal, the mass average of how people usually react to situations, to then claiming your power to being, okay, I know not to react. I know how to always question, how can I better respond in a situation like this? That is our responsibility in our spiritual development, to become more responsible. What is our responsibility? Our ability to respond. That is a practice. No reaction, respond. Then from there, the next level is how do we advance from even responding to situations? You say all the chaos is happening around the world, people dying, people hating, whatever negativity is happening, to then connecting with the divine, being one with source, one with God, one with universe. Many people believe in oneness. Many people believe, especially a lot of people who believe in any religion, will believe that they are one with God. But it's quite interesting because that line gets thrown out the door immediately when they are angry. It's like, how are you one with God? Only when you are at church? Or are you actually one with God? Because that is not that is not a godly behavior to have that stress, anger, frustration, fear. God will fear? That's how highly you think of God? If you are one with God, you have no fear, you have no doubt. So the journey will always be from, how do I get from reacting to learning to better respond and be responsible of, for my response for everything that happens around me. Then that journey will go from there to, oh, wait there a second, let me connect deeper to my higher self or to even higher source energy. And then it's not affected anymore. So when you ask that question, you say, do I still feel the emotion? Well, I can watch news and things happen, and no, actually, I'm not affected by it because I am the observer. And I'm not saying I, Master Sri Akarshana, is the observer. I'm saying you can all be the observer, be the ultimate witnesser. And when you remove yourself from your physical self, and we can all do this, by the way. We've all had those moments before, those trippy moments where we seem to see ourselves. But when we remove ourselves and we become the witnesser and observer, we realize that everything is divine and everything is perfect as it is. Just like many people can talk about the world of duality or polarity. There cannot be up if there's no down, there cannot be left if there's no right, there cannot be good if there's no bad. But how can people speak about that? And when something bad happens, they're like, why is this happening? No, bad has to happen. It has to happen. They are cycles. Chaos, it has to happen. It's part of it. There's chaos to order. People get lost today. I'm lost. I'm really confused. I'm lost. I'm depressed because I'm lost. I say, if you're lost, it's beautiful. Because guess what's following? It's the lost and found. People say, I can't find myself. I can't find my purpose. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I can't find myself. I said, it's because you're not willing to first lose yourself. They're afraid to lose themselves because they think losing themselves is negative. But it takes losing yourself to find yourself. So then when you start realizing these polar opposites are actually all meant to be, then how can anything affect you? Because anybody hating on you or saying any horrible words or doing anything, whatever actions they take, you know that there's an opposite. And you know it requires destruction for construction. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I understand that logically. It makes sense. Up, down, left, right, hot, cold. Um, you just need, it's like, for instance, you can't experience happiness without sadness. Like, you almost appreciate it more. Let's say, for instance, you get in an argument with someone over something stupid. Um, and then make up afterwards. Somehow it just feels better than it was before when it was just neutral, no argument. Just feels great. Like, oh, we made up. This feels really good. You sort of appreciate the friendship a bit more. Dark and light. Yeah, those things definitely make sense. It's just in those actual moments where you're going through situations, you don't think about polar opposites. You know, when things are happening at that particular moment, let's say there's some issues in your family and you're directly involved, you don't, well, most people don't have these, I don't know, spiritually uplifting moments where they're like,
It's because they are with their mind.
hmm,
They are not with their spirit. That's why I'm saying all of these rituals, protocols, practices, silencing the mind, breath work, yoga, all of these on a daily basis is doing what? Is getting us to connect more deeper in every moment with our spirit and not our human mind. And if we connect more with the spirit and we let go more of that fixed, limited identity, then there is no attachment there. Then actually everything is easy. There is no argument. It will not happen, there's an argument. I haven't had an argument in 7 years or something like that, but how is that, how can that be possible? Because are you saying that everything just good happens in your life? No, but the bad is good. Like there's no problem with it. End of last year, coming onto this year, we got, I got one of my personal wallets hacked, and basically they stole a couple $1 million, and everything was perfect. Like but it was instantly perfect because that moment, what would happen? Maybe this will give a little bit more clarity. I wake up in the morning and I do my usual practices, and then when I get to my desktop and I open up the wallet and I see it just decreasing as I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is interesting, must be a glitch. And then while it continues to go down, I'm like, wait there a second, why is the transfers coming out of it? That's not right. So that's the panic mode. So that's not right. What's going on? Then you realize all your assets are being transferred outwards, and you can't save it because it's decentralized, and and all your assets are just leaving you. And then you see it, and then what's your first reaction? Well, most people's reaction will probably start with an F or an S or something like that. But my go-to word is cute. It's like NLP. It's a pattern interrupt. So whenever I see anything that is strangely off or really bad, what people deem as bad, my default word is cute. So I said to myself, cute. And when I said those words, I instantly didn't feel as bad as I would if I said the F word or the S word. So I said cute. And then I asked after that, after the pattern interrupt, what do? We ask ourselves, what is our best way to respond right now? So I called up a team member and I said, very calmly, I said, there's money leaving our accounts right now. Is there any way you can figure out a way how to stop it from happening? And then they were continuously trying, and it was continuously draining, and all the money finally went. And then at the end of that, we're still, the F word wanted to come, but the C word came and said, cute. So I said, oh, cute. And then at the end, it was like, okay, finally. Now the situation is over. I've responded the best I can with as much positivity as I can. Now, what do I make out of the whole situation now? Did I just lose everything? I look up at the universe and I say, universe, this is my next level now, gratitude. I'm grateful to be alive. I lost something that I didn't even come into this world with. I'm grateful to have ever had it in the first place. I'm grateful I'm breathing. My life is here. My loved ones are alive. Thank you, thank you, thank you for not taking lives away today. Thank you. I'm so grateful. And then what's the final protocol? Okay, where do I decide my trust and my belief to be? Is my belief that the universe just took something away from me and something really bad just happened? Or is my belief, my choice of belief, the universe just cleared space for more and bigger things to manifest into my life? And it's a choice. And that choice, by the way, is not a choice, because whatever I believe in will manifest. So it's not really a choice. But most people default choose victim. But I know it's not a choice because I know how law of attraction works. So it's a bit of a trick question I ask myself, and I say, well, I choose to trust. Okay, so what is the statement then? Say, okay, my statement is, universe, thank you so much. You know that I'm worthy of way more than this, and you know that you want to clear more space for new things to come into my life. I totally have trust and faith in you. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I will be patient and I have no attachment, but thank you for everything. And I will continue to get back to work. Then the next moment. So how long does that whole phase last? Well, an hour? And then what do? Get back to work. Do I go back to the topic again? Do I need to bring it up again? Do I get upset again? Do I need to go? No. Get back to work. So there's a protocol. This is my protocol that I use in everything. Doesn't matter what happens, who dies, what situation happens. It's the same protocol.
That is really powerful. That is so powerful. I don't even know what to say. But there's definitely years of practice there.
The more we practice, the better we become at it. It's
yeah.
like
just like lifting weights, you know. That's amazing. That's amazing. How does the whole quantum thing work? So, all right, what is quantum, and how does a person quantum leap? I know you'd mentioned about this in a post somewhere. I'd love you to divulge in that.
well, quantum as a word is the going into the minor details of everything in existence, all the particles, everything. On that quantum level, depends on what word it's used with, will give a different meaning. So when we talk about quantum jumping or quantum leaping, we are basically, what is actually happening is we are traveling from one dimension to another dimension. This is actually, there's many studies on this now, backed by science, where they are, researching on 21 string theory and quantum physics and how all of those, how all of that actually works. But if we just talk about quantum leap, it's basically saying that if we shift our alignment, our vibrational frequency alignment, to a complete different reality, we will instantly arrive at that reality. If our energy is focused enough and intense enough and aligned enough, we will enter into a different reality. Now, we can give many, many scenarios in life where sometimes it feels like that happens. Let's say, for example, we lose our keys and we go to the drawer that we remember we left it in. We open the drawer, we don't see it there. And we're like, where's the keys gone? We look for a further hour, we can't find it. Later on in the day, we find it in the drawer that we left it in, which was strange because we 100% sure we looked in the drawer, it wasn't there. So how do we justify these situations? I mean, obviously many people will justify saying that, yeah, maybe your mind was not clear or, you just didn't see it or something, but these things happen quite a lot. The another situation that happens a lot is what people refer to as deja vu. If you really haven't been to a environment before, why would it feel familiar? How is that possible? It's because that glitch happens when we remember something from past or future. Past and future not being linear, because everything is parallel. Only in human world we talk about past and future, but otherwise in existence everything is just working, it's just happening. And so those are all quantum shifts and quantum jumps that is happening because we are just jumping. Oh, we access a different dimension, receive a piece of information, we're back here and we're like, hey, I've seen this before. That's strange, but I haven't. So these things we encounter quite a lot, but as like I said, human beings, because our minds are limited to try and understand something that is infinite, how could we put that to words? So we end up not being able to find the science and research behind everything. Instead, we just use words. Just call it deja vu. Just call it dream. Just call it you forgot. But when we really get deep into it, we realize that if time is actually not linear, meaning that 30 minutes is not always 30 minutes, 1 year is not always 1 year, 12 years is not always 12 years. And we've all experienced that too as well. We've all had it before where, what happened to the last 2-3 hours? It just disappeared. And then we've also had it before where time drags. But how is that possible? Just a feeling, really? But 3 hours just did this? This is already quantum leaping, quantum jumping. So there are many things that we can do to learn to align our energies to take that quantum leap. And this year in particular is a big year for quantum leap, especially with this 12-year cycle we are in right now. I don't know if you're into zodiacs and things, but it's the year of the dragon now.
Oh yeah, but I'm not too familiar with it. I know I've received a couple of DMs like, Happy New Year of the Dragon, something. I was like, oh, okay. I'm unaware of what that is, what it means, and
So we
there's
have minor cycles, we have major cycles in life. Minor cycles, we can use our usual star signs, Pisces, Cancer, Virgo, to understand that every month there's a different cycle that's happening. It's moving cycles. And if we incorporate the mini cycles, which the English astrology have, to the Chinese astrology, which is 12-year cycles, we will realize that actually every 12 to 15 years, there's always another recession, there's always another depression. If you look back in history, it's not like, you don't need to predict anything. So many people predict there's a recession coming, it's like, you didn't need to predict it. It's certain, it's a cycle. So just like UK and Japan just 2 weeks ago announced recession, it's not prediction. Nobody needed to do that. It was known it's going to happen. It's destined. And so we're in this cycle right now of this depression. But then if we look at it as depression, then people will start to panic again. And if you panic, you will manifest negativity. And that's not what anybody who's listening or watching wants. And so where should our focus be? Our focus should understand that to every crisis, they can be split up. In a Chinese word, crisis is made up of two words, danger and opportunity. When you write the word danger in Chinese and you write the word opportunity in Chinese and you put it together, it reads the word crisis. And so when you look at that, you start to realize, okay, during crisis time, if you look at it as danger, you're going to manifest danger. But if you look at it as opportunity, you'll see these next 2-3 years actually is the biggest opportunity times ever, especially for creating wealth and abundance, because that power, authority, wealth, prosperity is what that dragon energy represents. And so this is a very big quantum leap portal that will open up. But we need to understand, does that mean it's good? No. Nothing in life is good or bad. Everything is neutral. A knife is not good or bad. It's neutral. You can kill someone, you can operate and save someone's life. Money is not good or bad. You give it to someone good, they'll do good things with it. They give it to charity, help people. You give it to someone bad, they'll do bad things with it. So same thing. This quantum leap portal is wide open this year, 2024. And is it good or bad? It's not good, it's not bad, because it's going to do both. It's going to quantum leap positivity and it's going to quantum leap negativity. Hence, the announcement of the recession. With the announcement of the recession, we already know there are a lot of people who have money who will suddenly this year go bankrupt and have no money. It always happens. It happens at every recession, every global crisis. So it's not my prediction. This is just what happens. But at the same time, you'll see many, many who did not have any money before will suddenly become millionaires and billionaires. They will suddenly quantum leap their businesses and their ventures during this year. This is the year for that opportunity to happen. It's a wealth transfer year. But not everybody will be able to be on the right side of it. And that's why people really need to educate themselves well and build some strong foundations, get the right guidance. And if they navigate through this 3 years well, it will be the equivalent of you slaving away working for the next 15 years. That's what a quantum leap is. You can achieve in 1 year what would otherwise take somebody 10, 15 years to achieve.
Amazing. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, that's fascinating stuff. I think I definitely want to know personally more about quantum leaping because it's not something I've ever looked into that much. I've just heard the word thrown around, a bit like, as you mentioned, with the high vibration and low vibration. You're like, "Oh, what does that even mean?" But yeah, understanding how to work with it. That's cool. How long does this cycle last for? So you say Chinese New Year, is that did you say every 12 years?
It's every 12 years, but we have something very interesting happening in this particular cycle. The depression, the inflation is greater than ever before. The bubble is bigger than ever before. So therefore the depression is bigger than ever before. So the delayed recession, it's been delayed these few years. And if the delayed recession, the more it's delayed, the more amplified the chaos will become. So the more amplified the chaos will become, also the more amplified the opportunities will become. And so this is not just a 1 year job that is going to happen. Actually, it's going to continue to persist at least the next 2-3 years. So it's again, I don't want anybody who's listening to this to get fearful about it and panic. You just need to equip yourself and focus on work. I think that is work hard and work smart.
So what would you say is the best way to equip yourself during this time period? the next 2-3 years?
Right now, there's a few things. I mean, okay, I'm not going to talk about, because look, people sometimes they hear me talk about recession, they think I'm talking about only money. No, when a global depression happens, psychologically, mentally, physically, illness, everything happens. It's not, money is just one part of, one pillar of life. So everything is affected. So obviously, we're equipping yourself means equipping yourself mentally, physically, spiritually. So get teachings, get guidance for it. So that is important, because we need to build ourselves to be more mentally strong to deal with what is to come. Especially like the things that you were saying before, when people are just naturally affected by news and things that are happening surrounding. Well, guess what? There's going to be more war breaking out and people dying and things happening. And people are like, well, why are you not sad about this? Why are you not, reacting to this? I'm like, dude, if I get sad about it, I can't do anything about it. The helpless cannot help the helpless. The witnesser, the observer that is non-affected, therefore has the capacity and the strength to then make the difference. So we cannot be affected. Otherwise, how can we help those that are affected? So we need to be mentally and spiritually strong for that. But besides that point, if I just address one of the kind of core things that we are going to observe, the recession, if we want to take that financial leap during these few years, right now, minimize your spending for sure. No spending, sacrifice those nights out or those holidays right now, and just sacrifice. It takes some sacrifice. No spending. A lot of investing, but the investing for now is purely on your getting the right guidance and your personal education, because it's not investing in assets, not right now. Recession just got announced. Why would you invest in assets right now? Real estate, gold, stocks and share, everything's going to go down. That's not where the investing is right now. Your investing is in yourself right now, right? Third thing is learn how to accumulate as much money as possible, right? So what does that mean? Work harder than you've ever worked before and study wealth creation and find other means of making more money right now. You got to generate as much sales and be as cash rich as possible right now. That's the third thing. So you want to bank that money. This is something that in the past 12 years of me being a speaker, coach, and helping people, I never encourage people to keep money in the bank. But this is the only time to bank your money right now. Get as much cash as possible and bank the money, right? Number 4, build up your credit rating. If you have poor credit, then increase your credit rate, get good credit, start working on it. Doesn't matter how bad it is. If you have good credit already, get even better credit. Get in preparation, know how much loans and things like that you can get into good debt in future. So you need to prepare yourself for good credit right now. We still have some time. We still have 1-2 years for this. That's the 4th thing. The 5th thing is now the waiting. While all of this is happening, is waiting for the 5th thing. And what's that 5th thing? When everything starts going at least 30% below market value, that's shopping time. So you got to accumulate. In the next 2-3 years, accumulate as much as you can. Not spending. Don't go and buy your dream house because now you've got enough money to do it. That's the most silly thing to do, because you will only end up with one house. You should not do that during this time. That time will be investing. Invest in stocks and shares. Invest in this real estate. Invest. You need to invest heavily. Go shopping. But if you do these 5 things in these next 3 years and you do it well, you do it religiously, 3 to 5 years time, you're going to just be like, I can't believe I am living this life right now. This is unbelievable, because I remember just a few years back, I had nothing. That is a quantum leap. but you have to equip yourself and do the right things, you know. So
Mm.
yeah, and then there will be the equivalent. You will suddenly be, I don't know, those who were not earning anything at all will suddenly have hundreds of thousands. Those who have hundreds of thousands will suddenly have millions. Those who have millions will suddenly have become a billionaire. And you'll be like, huh? I can't believe it. It's only been 3 years. That is the effect of this cycle. And we got to play the cards right.
Noted. So, what's your journey now? Like, what are you doing moving forward? Like with, the coaching that you do as well, company, personal desires, and what's your plans?
Coaching, I'm not doing. I don't take coaching clients on. I sometimes run some events. That's
Mm,
all. I've stopped on the coaching. I do a lot more. Coaching as a business is no longer a thing for me. Like most. Most of my things, if I can be at one event and have a few thousand, like in a couple of weeks time I'm in Taiwan with a few thousand people, like if it's like that, then I can use my time effectively that way. Otherwise, coaching people is not my thing right now. So
right.
yeah, and we do a lot of free events for people. So yoga, meditation. I think spiritually helping people is something that I will always do, because it's a lot of things I learned from the Himalayas that can really help humanity, and people need it. With regards to the business side, it's not what I deal with. I just show up when I can, but we have a very good team, very good CEO, which is fully focused in virtual reality right now. And that's where millions of dollars we are invested in right now, because that is the future of it, technology, the blockchain technology and metaverse and things like that, to be able to provide people that solution that they otherwise would not have had, to be able to go deeper with their meditation practices and have connection with people from all around the world. So that is the main project, if we talk about business-wise, that the team is putting more of their focus on right now. And for us spiritually, with alongside my spiritual master, we have just acquired a beautiful land in the Himalayas. Not in the foothills. In the foothills of Himalayas, it's become very commercial now. So you have places like Rishikesh where people go for yoga training and things, but it's all commercialized. So the divine energies and the powers is no longer there. It's shifting. So it's actually in the mountains. So we just acquired a few thousand acres of land in the Himalayas, and we are currently building our ashram to create a sanctuary, a training ground for a lot of our students and disciples around the world, especially in the next coming years. It's going to be very much required. A place where people can go for free. That's like, part of our charity work, to be able to provide some space that is safe for people to learn and develop there. So that's that part. And the most excited thing I am right now in this actual month is actually our land in Kenya, because we have a charity out there. I've been doing it for 12 years now, and we have an orphanage, a school, and we just got some new land a few months back, and we're building a new building. So I'm excited to get back there in a couple of months' time and see the kids again. So
Oh,
I
that's
think that's
amazing.
my desire and pleasure right now, enjoying my time with the kids.
That's amazing. And so this is an actual school for the kids to teach them, well, to educate them.
Yeah, we have an orphanage and a school. I've had it for 12 years now. So every year I would go out there and take some volunteers out there as well to experience it. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That is
Mm.
really, truly amazing. Well, thank you very much for your time, Master Sri.
Thank
Everything
you.
you've
Thank you for the interview. They were wonderful questions, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, pleasure's all mine. So where can everybody find you, and should they be interested in going to one of your seminars, where can they find information about that?
I think they'll find on YouTube, Instagram, everything. The team does a wonderful job, so I think it's everywhere they'll find me. Yes.
I'm sure. Master Sri, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and
Thank you so much for your
continue
time, Roger. Thank you.
anytime.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate you too. God bless you, sir.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right.